Tactics games take many shapes and forms. Battles against aliens for the fate of the Earth, uncovering a plot against the church while taking your students to tea. And then there's Ash of Gods, The Way, a game that feels like a love child between Banner Saga and Gwent. The Way is the second title in the Ash of Gods series. The first game, Ash of Gods Redemption, was released in 2018 and is a tactical RPG that plays similarly to Banner Saga. But The Way is where studio AurumDust has diverged. Gone are the days of individual character-based turns. Now it's all about deck building, strategy, and trying not to throw your keyboard in frustration. This is Ash of Gods, The Way. As I stated earlier, The Way is a tactical deck-building RPG. The game centers around 4 card decks that you must master and 4 tournaments that you must complete. The tournaments consist of the following levels: qualification matches, adjutant matches, and finally, the champion battle. During these matches, players utilize a deck of 10 unit cards and 10 support cards. You may play 1 unit and 1 support card and any special abilities your commander may have within each round. All units operate simultaneously, so you're no longer controlling each character like in Redemption. These units work in tandem, and as long as they're still standing, they move and attack on their own during each round. The goal, of course, take down the enemy's commander before they take down yours. Sounds simple enough, but this is where Ash of Gods The Way's creative gameplay shines through. Each battle, regardless of the level in the tournament, is its own unique challenge. Some matches will have you fighting for a control point, some will have you facing down 2 commanders, and some will only let you use 1 unit for the entire match. And of course, that's not all. Each match comes with its own requirements and bonus objectives that you can unlock for fruitful rewards. I loved that I always felt constantly on my toes, eager to test different decks and see what faced me in the next match. This steady change-up of gameplay turns what could have been a dull, repetitive card game into something fresh and this challenging tactical experience. And let me tell you, I do mean challenging.
Not bad, but it's only the beginning.
The Way is not a long game, but it is a difficult one. Even in story mode, aka easy mode, amassing the most powerful cards won't grant you automatic success. It's not that kind of deck building game. Certain decks won't work in particular challenges, regardless of how much money and experience you've spent buffing the hell out of them. And so that makes preparation key. Reading battle information and discussing the fight ahead with your advisors is crucial in this game. Often they'll give you helpful hints about what deck and cards to use, in addition to warnings. But ultimately, what you do with that information is up to you. And after all that work, all that planning, all them tactics, it can still be challenging, which is why it feels truly special when you finally win a battle that was giving you grief. Thankfully, if there's one particular match that you aren't able to beat despite your best efforts and cards, or you simply don't have enough money to pay your way to win, you can change the base difficulty of the game by going to the settings from the tournament screen. But the game is not as lenient when it comes to saves. There are no manual saves, just auto ones. Once you've cleared a tournament, you can go back to replay matches, but not to change or affect any choices you've made in the story. This simple design choice only reinforces the game's brutal themes. Just like in real war, you gotta live with the consequences of your actions. Unlike its predecessor, The Way only has you play as one character, Finn. Finn is a Birkenin whose adoptive uncle Ake, aka Fantasy Ron Perlman, tasks him with the journey of mastering the Way and eliminating the 3 champions in order to prevent another war. Throughout their journey, Finn and Ake are joined by drunk deckmaster Cleeta and vain noble Raylo. While Finn is the relatively bland vessel for the player, Ake, Cleeta, and Raylo easily make up for that with their distinct and fun personalities.
Who knows, Raylo? Perhaps your name means something in the ancient languages too.
Yeah, something like a huge thorn in the ass.
Hey, it's Noble Thorn.
You get to see each of these characters grow throughout the game, and it really feels like a tight-knit, found family by the end. But those aren't the only individuals you interact with. The Way comes packed with a plethora of side characters, each with different motivations and backstories. Just like Finn hides secrets from the world, so do your adversaries. Are they simply misunderstood or crueler than you could imagine? Just as war is not black and white, so do those shades of gray exist within the people around you.
You've interested me. And if you continue to surprise me in the challenger battles, I think I will want to know more about you.
And that's what makes dealing with your adversaries fun, because depending on your choices, you may be presented with alternate ways of dealing with them. Some of these choices are very clear, some are not. For instance, I found it easy to align myself with one adversary when suddenly, in the next tournament, I was only presented with the option to kill the other. There wasn't a way around it despite how desperately I clicked. Every dialogue choice matters and can be the difference between multiple solutions or auto-killing another character. Of course, the garnish on this delectable game is Ash of Gods the Way's art design. The hand-drawn style picked for the game gives it this grounded medieval fantasy feel. During card combat, units are animated using sort of a 2D rotoscope method, similar to Redemption and Banner Saga. It makes the fighters feel that much more real and exciting, especially when you mow down a particularly tough foe. Battlefields are different depending on location, and what's even more fun is that you can see Finn and your companions and your competitor standing on the sides of the field commanding and making the moves. It's a nice, subtle artistic addition that I found super charming. Outside of combat, character models are beautifully drawn and given subtle looping animations. This gives it a sense of life rather than just being like a flat figure on the screen. These artistic elements combined with the rich, medieval-inspired music help create a hearty, immersive experience. Ash of Gods the Way is easily one of those games that completely surprised me and is definitely on my list of things you should play in 2023. I was expecting your standard, basic tactical deck builder, but I was presented with something that was stunning and compelling and gameplay systems that made me eager for more matches. Where Ash of Gods Redemption was criticized as being too similar to Banner Saga, The Way is where AurumDust has truly found their stride. I honestly can't wait to get back in the game again, just to see how other things can play out, other endings, other choices on and off the battlefield. But let me just say again, if you are a glutton for punishment, go nuts. But if you just want to experience the story and play the game and still have a little bit of challenge, story mode is for you, especially if you're a tactical deck building beginner. The game can be a challenge for those who don't have enough experience in the genre. But if you want to give it a shot, Ash of Gods The Way is now available on Nintendo Switch, Steam Store, and Epic Games.